Welcome back to the lab. Yesterday we started polishing up the exhaust system on this VQ35 DETT 4-wheel drive 5-speed sequential gearbox powered Nissan K12 March. You didn't expect to hear that all in the same sentence, would you? Look, it's shiny! I told you it'd be shiny. I told you I wouldn't go crazy on it. I did kind of go a little bit crazy, but it's shiny. It's not 100% 10 out of 10 mint. Maybe an 8 or possibly less. There's some of these joins, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera. Yeah, you must be able to see that. It was impossible to get them well, not impossible, impractical to get them perfect based on where I started, right? So it's a second-hand exhaust system that's been in a race car for 2 years that have been chopped and changed. So, you know, you get what you get. And that's it. That's as far as we're going with that. It's shiny, it looks nice, that'll do. And now, at least when it discolors, it will, guarantee it, it's going to go brown. It will all go brown at the same rate and look like it's in place, and it won't look as much like it is several pieces have been chopped, changed, put together, this piece from here, that piece over there, etc. Next on the list is actually the turbo boost pipes need adjusting as well. We've changed the intercooler from what we had earlier on. We had one that was about half that size, so the bottom of that has come down significantly, which has changed all the angles and everything. The front pipe of the pipe, the reducer, silicon reducer, now sits on a little bit of an angle where it comes out of the turbo, and that's going to be prone to blowing those off at the racetrack, and we don't want that. So I've got to chop these up and change these as well. We are chopping and changing almost everything. That does tend to be what happens when you take a race car and you adjust this and you adjust that and you change this and you shift things around. And it's not a one-make series where the cars all have to be the same and you can't fiddle with them, and I wouldn't be interested in that style of racing anyway. The whole point in it, as I described earlier on in the video, is so I can get in there and fiddle with things. Doing this in here, this is more for me than the actual driving of the car. Although, to be fair, I did have a smile on my face a few times recently driving it, so it's getting back to the point where I'm enjoying that sort of thing. Shall we have a look at what we need to finish to get this car going? Again, in here, this is quite echoey now, isn't it? Never mind. In here, we've got to put some oil on that. We've got to do a bolt check everywhere. Sort out these pipes, like I say. We actually need to put the engine oil back in. I want to mount the boost controller properly. The solenoid there, I want to do something with that. It's not right. There's a clamp missing here. This is coming off at some point, possibly after the car is up and running and testing and all that sort of carry on, but that's coming off and we're doing something cooler with that one way or another. We'll get it sorted out. That needs to be mounted again or shifted somewhere else because we changed the box that it was attached to in the past. That's gone now, so we can't use that. That needs closing off there. Possibly at this point in time we'll be just taking this piece right out and putting a blank plate on that. Then that will fit back in later on if we want to put the passenger seat in. The bang stick that goes in here, that's coming. We'll get that soon. In there, I think that's almost some tidying up of that wiring and remount the floor over there by the pedals. That's it in there. Under the car, which I'm not going to lift up, it makes too much noise, and you guys know what's under the car. We've got to take our 3 bits of billet, which are sitting over here. 1, 2, 3. Very expensive pieces of aluminium. We have to make 3 of those, or something very, very similar to that, not quite exactly that. We will spigot on the inside of the shaft rather than on the outside, like what this one has done in the past. Now that I know the center of the shaft is all true and correct. So, I mean, we could get the scales out. That piece of steel there, I would say probably weighs more than that whole piece of aluminium like that. Yeah, it does by just picking it up like that. Oh, no, they're marginally heavier. But we went through that process earlier on. We changed a flange that was steel. It was similar to this, and the aluminium version was half the weight, give or take. So that was good. So we've got to do those. Then we've got to make the main prop shaft on there. Guys at ATL sorted us out with this one. This needs to be quite a bit longer than what that is. We're going to start with fresh joints. I'm not going to chop these off and use these again. This will be a completely new shaft, and that'll sort that out. Other than that, there's some really boring stuff, just leading up the brakes and attaching a few lines in various places, and some clamps on the fuel hoses in the transmission tunnel there, and protecting them in case the drive shafts decide to go AWOL and have a munch on things. Possibly we'll do some sort of a drive shaft hoop arrangement, although very hard to do in this car because there's two shafts in very close proximity to each other on slightly different angles and not nicely shaped tunnels, so that will be hard to do, generating any form of strength without a whole heap of weight and a lot of time. But I'll look into it. We've got to do something. Beyond that, there is some cosmetic stuff to do. I've got to finish up what I'm doing with the front bumper. I've got to finish the back of the diffuser on the back, although technically that's not really cosmetic, because if I don't do that, we're going to have exhaust flamage onto the rear bumper and the car's going to be on fire, probably even on the dyno. It won't even get to track. So cosmetic / functional, those things need sorting out. And we're looking at doing a full rewrap of the car, full reimagination of how it looks and what's going to be on there and all that sort of carry on. So that should be exciting. We are fast running out of time before next season, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, doing things like that in level 3, not easy at all. That's the sort of thing you need to be there with the sign riders, having a discussion about what you want where and looking at pictures and all that sort of stuff. Doing it all remotely, not ideal. Can be done, not impossible, not something I'd want to do, but we will see. Anyway, that's it for today. Short and sweet. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for the new subscribers who have come on board. Welcome on board. Hopefully things will get a bit more exciting once we're allowed to get out of lockdown and we can start the process of getting the vehicle tuned. We want to get some more cameras on board for that. Another camera, someone with a camera person, or someone to assist me so that we can really get some good footage of the whole tuning process, the car running on the dyno, banging through the gears, up to probably Hampton Downs, setting up the gear shifting mechanisms and everything, and all the tuning of the ECU, the shift cut, and when the ignition, how it comes back on board, and all that sort of carry on. Go through all that stuff for you and get the thing up and running, test it, see what lap times it does. Probably just to annoy everyone, I'll do that on the 2 or 3 year old Nexon SUR 4Gs, which are awesome tyres, and I reckon they're still actually going to hold pretty well. Even at that age, they should be pretty good. Once we've got it all sussed out and we know how the car's running and where we're at, we'll put some new tyres on it then. Superlap has opened a new class with slicks. It's an unlimited class. Obviously there's some safety rules to follow, but I believe it's basically whatever. It won't be open wheel cars, it'll be saloon cars, and it has to look like some sort of a production vehicle, and beyond that I think they're just, she's good, whatever you bring it'll be fine. We probably won't be going to slicks. Nexon don't make slicks. Nexon have been a great sponsor. I want to keep with what they make, so that'll be what we're doing. Right, thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.